What a beautiful sight to come out of work to. Oh man, that is such a bright, brilliant red. I absolutely love it. Of course, with the period correct SSR wheels on it, those forged wheels. Let's hop in this bad boy and have a little chat. And I want to talk a little bit about the plans for it and what we've done so far, what my plans are for the car, kind of what I use it for. So let's get into it. So I use this car mainly as a street car. It is a toy, like many people from my age group, which is you know, I'm 34, so I was born in '89. I grew up in the 90s, and I played Gran Turismo on PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and naturally I fell in love with the Viper. So it's been my favorite car ever since I was a kid. The only other car that I probably like more, Viper's still my all-time favorite. It would be the Ford GT, like the 2006 era Ford GT. That car to me is like just incredible. But anyway, for the Viper, we're dropping it off at P1 Garage. If I can get my hands on it, I'm trying to get a paint-matched RPM 6-point roll bar with swing-out door bars and removable. The door bars are both swing-out and they're removable. So when I'm not, you know, taking it on the track, I'll just have the 4-point behind me and the 6-point roll bar. The 2 extra points will just be for when I'm actually tracking it. Need to actually map myself to douchebag, but my response is, well, where's your Viper, right? I mean, I think that 6 pounds is plenty for this car. I would, you know, I'd like to turn it up to 8 pounds, but I really don't want to dig into the motor. The most I want to do to this engine would be to put a cam in it. And I don't even want to put like a custom grind cam or something crazy. I just want to do a 708 cam from a 96 to 99 Viper, which is a very aggressive cam. It has a lot of lobe separation, and pair that cam with some 1.7 liter or 1.7 roller rockers. That's about it. I mean, it would sound great. It's not going to really give it any more performance than what I currently have. In fact, it could potentially hurt performance. I'm skeptical on that. I think it would help it a little bit, but it's not going to be like, it's not a turbo cam, it's not a nitrous cam, it's not a ProCharger cam or a supercharged cam, right? It's really just, it's just going to be a nice lopey cam that gives it that factory Viper chop from the 90s, and that's really about it. I think 6 to 8 pounds in this car, making 650 wheel is plenty. This car is an absolute blast the way it is, and I've learned my lesson from in the past, right? Like, I've gone too far with cars, and then you lose that reliability, that drivability, the streetability, and I really don't want to have a car that like frustrates me. I really like taking this car out. It's very enjoyable. It's fun to just romp on and then just cruise around. I don't know, to me it's just perfect. So I just want to do those small touches. I need to put better brakes on it. I think gonna upgrade to some drilled and slotted rotors with maybe some hawk pads. I'd like to get the roll bar in. I want to do the bushings. I know it needs some bushings in the rear, because ideally I want to keep this a street car, but I do want to track it in terms of a road course. So I'd like to bring this car to the firm, and I want to make sure that the car is up to snuff and prepared for the task to be able to consistently do 3 to 5 laps at a time and not give me an issue. Vipers notoriously run hot, and the only issue I've had with the car to date, other than this alternator issue that's the main reason I'm bringing it to P1, is the car puked coolant on me once because it got kind of hot, and I started to freak out a little bit, to be honest, and I thought I might have blown a head gasket. Well, what happened was the factory thermostat, which I don't think it was a factory because it was like a 180 or 170 or something, it stuck closed. So the car got hot. This was on like a 30-minute drive. I wound up replacing the thermostat, long story short, with a 160, and the car has been perfectly fine ever since. Currently, it's 91 degrees outside right now, and my temp gauge is just a hair, like a tick over the middle line. So right now it's probably running around 205, 210, which is, in all things considered, great for a Viper, and even better for a twin turbo Viper, because you have a massive intercooler up front. These cars didn't really have, you know, great cooling capabilities. They have the heat extractors in the hood. You need as much air through the front as possible. So when you have a huge 4-inch thick intercooler right in front of the radiator, it doesn't really help you in terms of cooling. So I'm really great with how I'm like just absolutely thrilled with how great the car's been running since I put the thermostat in. But the only other issue that I've had since I've owned the car, and I don't know if it's an issue with the AEM or an issue with the alternator, but the voltage will jump from anywhere between like 13 to 15 volts. And like, you could watch it on the voltmeter. It's kind of frustrating. So because this happens sometimes, it goes into like what's an over voltage protection. So the AEM protects itself. It'll cut ignition. It's more or less like a kind of like a boost cut, but it's frustrating because it happens without warning. You don't know when it's going to happen. So if you're in the middle of a drag pass and it noses over, you're like, oh well, cool, and it causes you to lose a race, right? So the biggest upgrade, other than the roll bar and the cam, if I do the cam, is I would like to take the current standalone out, which is an AEM Infinity, and go to a Motec M150, which is also a piggyback standalone computer just like this. So all my factory gauges work, but the Motec is just worlds better. It gives you a lot more things, rolling anti-lag, some stuff I really don't need in like a 650 to 700 rear wheel horsepower car. However, it'd be really nice to have. So but that's it. I really just want to talk about a little bit about the car, kind of bring you guys for a little ride along. I love this thing. It's super fun. We're gonna get the P1 garage here now. I'll show you guys what they have, and then we'll wrap up the video. Well, for a size comparison, for anyone that's curious how big the Viper actually is, it's right next to a Cobra, 03 Cobra, and it's actually about the same size, if not a little bit smaller.